Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well on this Monday, and it is Super Bowl week. It is Super Bowl week in the NFL. We're going to get the big game, the final game in less than a week, and then the season's over. Season's over for a long, long time, so we've got one meaningful game left. Enjoy it. We're not going to see another one until September. Even though we didn't make it, even though the Seahawks are not going to be participating, it's still going to be fun, still going to be a blast. And I think a lot of people who watch the Seahawks, who just generally enjoy the NFL, are going to be able to appreciate this one because whatever you want to say about these teams, it does seem like we've gotten the two best teams. It sure seems like we've gotten the two best teams this whole year in the Super Bowl. Obviously, both teams, they lost some games this year. They had their moments where they didn't look quite as dominant as they had been in previous moments, but they're both here. So let's just talk about this game for a minute here. Obviously, it doesn't really have that much to do with us. It doesn't affect our picks. It doesn't really affect our standing within like the division, since none of these teams are our division rivals. The Chiefs are a former rival, but I think most people, especially the people who watch this channel, based off the age demographics that I see, don't even really remember that. So it's not really about that. It's just kind of about who you personally like better based off the players, who you like better based off maybe the uniforms, maybe the team's histories, or it's something it's gonna be a little more abstract than usual. So first, let me just say I'm very appreciative of the fact, I already kind of talked about this a week ago, but I'm very appreciative of the fact that I'm going to get to watch this Super Bowl relatively stress free because I don't really care who wins. It doesn't really matter to me that much who wins. I honestly respect both teams. I have an appreciation for both teams. And there's no part of me that is like really concerned that one of these teams is going to win the Super Bowl and then I'm going to have to deal with the fallout of that. You know, last year you had a team like the Rams in the Super Bowl, who obviously I did not want to win. A couple years ago, you had the 49ers in the Super Bowl. You didn't want them to win. Bucks in the Super Bowl. I was sick of Tom Brady at that point, didn't want to see him win. You know, those years, most years, you've got at least one team in the bowl that you really don't want to see win. So I'm glad that this year I don't have to worry about that. Personally, I'm going to be watching this Super Bowl pretty agnostic. I don't really care who wins. I don't really care how the game goes. I'd like it to be entertaining, but I'm going to feel pretty much the exact same way regardless of which of these two teams wins the game. So, with that being said, who do we think is going to win the game and who do we want to win the game? Go ahead and leave yours in the comments. Let me know who you want to win. Let me know who you think is going to win. Let me know how you think the game is going to go. All that fun stuff. You know, Seahawks aren't in the game, so let's have a little bit of fun with it at least. Let's try to figure this one out. What are you going to be doing for the game? Are you going to be doing anything fun, anything cool, anything interesting going on for you during the Super Bowl this year? Just let me know. I don't think I'm doing all that much interesting. I will, of course, be watching the game. I'll be watching, I think, the whole thing because I do imagine this game will be at least somewhat entertaining, and I am looking forward to it. And while at the end of the day, whichever teams make the Super Bowl in any year ultimately deserved to make the Super Bowl, like I'm not saying anything, you know, I'm not saying anything derogatory about any team that makes the Super Bowl. These were the two teams that were the best teams over the course of the regular season. They were the two teams that won 14 games. They were the two teams that generally, for the I know you had things like the Chiefs lost to the Bills head to head, and then the Bills got eliminated before they had to play the Chiefs again. And in the regular season, you could even say, hey, the Chiefs lost to the Bengals. I understand that. But to me, they were the best team in the AFC this year. And the Eagles, I mean, two of their losses came when they were already in a situation where they had very little to play for. So to me, those two losses are whatever. So I think these are pretty clearly the two best teams. And I feel like the Eagles, especially with what is going on with the Chiefs in terms of their injuries, where they had to put Mecole Hardman on injured reserve today, so he won't be playing. And Mahomes' ankle, of course, where he didn't look that good against the Bengals. They found a way to kind of worm their way to a victory regardless, but Mahomes did not look right in that game. You got to figure he's still not 100%, even if he's close. You look at the rosters, and for my part, I'm going to say I feel really good about the Eagles finding a way to win this game. The Eagles, I mean, that is a complete team. You look at that roster, and it's kind of amazing they've managed to do this while not going over the salary cap in 2024. Or, yeah, 2023, excuse me. The whole offensive line is just stacked. It's full of, they've got some future Hall of Famers. They've got some current Pro Bowl caliber players. The backfield is rock solid with multiple guys they trust. Jalen Hurts having an MVP caliber season. Excellent receivers, some of the best receivers in the league. They're good at tight end. They're incredible pass rush that is one of the deepest maybe in the history of the NFL. It's amazing. It's genuinely amazing that this team has managed to be this complete. And obviously the Jalen Hurts rookie contract helps. But even with that, the ability to put together a secondary with, I'd say, 3 Pro Bowl caliber players with Slay, Bradbury, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. It's a team that has very few holes. Maybe you could say like linebacker. Maybe they got a little bit of a hole at linebacker, but other than that, this is one of the most complete teams I can ever remember seeing. And I know they beat up on a weak schedule and a weak conference in some respects, but I look at this Eagles team and I see a team that is built almost perfectly. And I have immense respect for how it was built. Most of it was done through the draft. I believe that every starter on the Eagles offense, with the exception of A.J. Brown, was somebody the Eagles drafted. But they supplemented things with well-timed trades and free agent signings, like Hassan Reddick, like the A.J. Brown trade, like the the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade, acquiring Darius Slay, acquiring James Bradbury. It's a great mix of excellent drafting and excellent aggression in free agency and on the trade market. They found a situation where the Saints basically had to give away really good safety for free because their cap situation was so bad, and they jumped on it, and look at where they are now. So I love the way that team was put together, and they found a way to build basically, I think, a super team. I think it's fair to call this Eagles team a super team looking at that roster, without overextending themselves too much. Now, obviously, when they have to pay Jalen Hurts, that may change, but maybe they don't pay Jalen Hurts. Maybe they just figure, hey, let's find the next Jalen Hurts. Let's find the next undervalued quarterback in the draft who can be really good for us because we build a great system around their talents. They might just do that. And this is a team that just less than half a decade ago had what they thought to be a Super Bowl caliber team, and then it collapsed around them. The Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson team, they turned it over and blew it up, and within a season they were good again, and now they're this. I really respect the job that those Eagles have done over there, so I think they are going to win this Super Bowl, and I think they're as complete a team as we've seen recently. Of course, I love the way the Chiefs have been built too. They pay their super duper stars. When they have to move on, they move on, and they find ways to replace them. And they've done a really good job building out the rest of that roster with some less than desirable parts because they build and trust around their superstars, of course. So, to me, this is a matchup of two teams that 100% deserve to be here. It is a matchup of two teams that have been built brilliantly. It is a matchup of two teams that I admire in the way that they are put together. Now, personally, I will say this. I actually appreciate and like both teams as well, just on a personal level. I like Andy Reid. Andy Reid is maybe my favorite person in the NFL who's not a player and not involved with the Seahawks. I love Andy Reid. I think he's a genius, and I think he's a great guy and a class act. I know a lot of Seahawks fans hate the Chiefs because of Mahomes and, well, to a certain extent, Kelsey and formerly Tyreek Hill. I mean, the Tyreek Hill stuff was pretty fair. But I like this Chiefs team, and I'll always have no problem rooting for them because of Andy Reid, Big Red over there. And this Eagles team, They don't have any players in particular that I feel an attachment to, or coaches or anything like that, but just the way in which that team is constructed, a lot of respect and a lot of appreciation for it. It's hard for me to root against them too. I'll just be honest with that. I've known a lot of Eagles fans in my life. I've been friends with a lot of Eagles fans. And even though I know that Eagles fans have a very bad reputation in the NFL right now, it's very easy for me to be appreciative of their success and be happy for those people. So, yeah, this is a great Super Bowl matchup for me. It's stress-free viewing. I'm going to get to sit back, watch the game, watch the commercials, and there's not going to really be any part of me that is like, oh, wow, I'm really hoping that this happens or that happens. No. I'm going to kick back and watch, so you guys tell me who you're rooting for, what you think is going to happen. Lay it all on me. Let me know what you got for the Super Bowl this week. Obviously, very little to do with the Seahawks here, but let's have some fun with it regardless. It's the last meaningful game for a while, right? All right, I will see you guys later tonight. Should be doing more Fire Emblem on Twitch, and I don't think I'll be able to get to Hogwarts Legacy tonight. I don't think it drops until the next morning, but I guess we'll see for sure about that. And I hope to see you guys there, and if not, I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Go Hawks!